Breaking news, we have the judge's decision on bond for the man accused of murdering a radio news anchor, plus updates on the other members of his family. Florida residents wait hours to get their hands on sandbags. Hurricane Ian could make a direct hit in the Sunshine State. We're tracking preparations. Kim.
We have a few showers out there right now, and it is cool. When will the rain come to an end? We'll talk about it in the forecast, plus tracking Hurricane Ian.
It's called DART, and it is an asteroid smacking rocket that is one small step for mankind, and we have no idea what it's going to do to that asteroid. But we have everything you need to know for the Big Bang scheduled for tonight.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon. I'm Karen Drew. First at 4, we just got our first look at the suspect in the murder of a local radio news anchor. Police gave an update on his family members who were injured. 55-year-old Arthur Williamson is facing 7 felony charges, including premeditated homicide and unlawful imprisonment. The judge decided he'll be held without bond. He's accused of killing WWJ news anchor Jim Matthews and injuring 3 members of his family in Chesterfield Township last Friday. Police say he attacked them with a hammer, but they believe he was a guest in the home, not an intruder. They're still trying to learn exactly why he was there.
You can only suspect things that you can try to put together, but because there's limited clarity at this point because of not only the victims in this case that are hospitalized and the ones that need care and treatment, and let's face it, the mother with her loved children, I mean, her most important thing right now is her children. So a lot of that stuff and that information is still forthwith coming.
Police say Matthew's girlfriend remains hospitalized at this hour, listed in stable condition. The 10-year-old son who was attacked is in critical. Their 5-year-old daughter has been released. New at 5, we're going to go over that timeline for the attack as described by police and also have some reaction from Matthew's family in a live report at 5. Detroit police investigating a fight between 2 men that ended up with one of them getting run over. Now, we don't have a lot of details on this one, but we are told they pulled into the parking lot of a liquor store at Joy Road in Greenfield. It was about 10:30 this morning. There was an argument. As one man walked back to his car, the other ran him over and then drove off in a gray sedan. The victim is listed in critical condition. If you happen to have seen anything, please give police a call. Detroit police also investigating a break-in at a popular restaurant over on the Avenue of Fashion. Surveillance video seems to show 3 people who broke into Nani's Sherwood Grill on Livernois at West Outer Drive. They ran through the restaurant, finding a small amount of cash, but there was no safe inside. Local 4 investigators are taking a closer look at if this break-in might be connected to others, and one suspect did leave behind a surprising piece of evidence. We'll talk about that when you join us tonight at 5:30. Hurricane Ian is just marching toward Florida, getting stronger and stronger, whipping near the Cayman Islands today. I want you to take a look at the winds blowing these palm trees here in Grand Cayman. Right now, Ian is a Category 1 storm, but that's going to change. Meteorologist Kim Adams tracking Ian's path. She's standing by, but first, Pam Osborne is in the newsroom with a closer look at how Florida is preparing for the worst. Pam?
Karen, good afternoon. This is going to be a stressful week for people across Florida and for those of us who have family and friends down there. It looks like Ian will grow into a Category 4 storm in the next few days in the Gulf of Mexico. All 67 counties in the state of Florida are under a state of emergency as they wait to see exactly where the storm might hit. Right now, Ian could make landfall somewhere along the Florida Peninsula or into the panhandles. It seems Tampa and St. Petersburg are among the most likely targets for a direct hit. People are buying plenty of plywood to board up, some waiting hours to fill sandbags, and others are gassing up their vehicles. Florida's governor is urging people to be prepared but not to panic.
For all you new Floridians who haven't been through one of these before, just understand, just remain calm. There's no need to panic. Listen to the folks at the local level. Listen to what they advise in terms of preparations, any evacuations.
The governor has already called up 2,500 members of the National Guard for the storm response and has put utility workers on standby to repair any outages. Plus, NASA, it's moving its Artemis moon rocket back into a garage at the Kennedy Space Center. The storm has pushed back the next launch attempt for at least the next few weeks. Right now, let's head over to meteorologist Kim Adams to take a look at the current conditions and what the models are showing us about Ian's path. Kim?
Pam, this is a massive hurricane. It's very well organized already, even as a Category 1. You can see it here on the visible satellite. Visible satellite is exactly what it looks like from space, and you can see the signature hurricane on a satellite. Also, the enhanced satellite showing us that this storm will continue to strengthen over the next 24 to 48 hours. Here's the latest advisory. It came out at 2 o'clock. We will get another advisory in about 45 minutes. So at the 5 o'clock show, we'll have that new advisory. And it's changing rapidly. The track, we have a couple different tracks to choose from between a European model and the American model, which makes a big difference for Florida. So make sure you watch tonight at 5 o'clock to show you the exact track. But right now, 85-mile-per-hour winds. Tuesday, tomorrow morning, it will become a Category 3, a major hurricane. So going from a 1 to a 3 in a very short period of time. The concern is as it moves toward Tampa on that right side of the storm, a lot of storm surge and also heavy winds, high winds, heavy rain, a big problem for Tampa Bay that we're going to talk about coming up here a little later on. Plus our forecast at home in just a few minutes.
All right. Thank you, Kim. We do have other news to share this afternoon. Russian authorities are investigating a school shooting that left 15 people dead, and that includes 11 children. It happened in a town about 600 miles east of Moscow. Investigators say a 34-year-old man opened fire. 24 others were injured before the gunman killed himself. He was registered as a patient at a psychiatric facility and was also a graduate from the same school. Spokesperson says President Vladimir Putin is calling the crime a terrorist act and deeply mourns the deaths of those inside the school. Well, getting into Canada about to get much easier as that country is ready to ease its COVID rules at the border. The Canadian government says it is dropping all COVID-19 measures, and that starts October 1st. That means travelers will not have to show proof of vaccination. There's no more pre or on-arrival COVID testing, and Canada won't require face masks on planes or trains any longer. Right now, the CDC says Canada has a high COVID-19 level and warns people to be up to date on vaccinations before entering the country. Well, tonight, the Big Bang will be skyward as NASA deliberately crashes a rocket into an asteroid some 6.8 million miles from Earth. Now, there's no danger right now, but the historic mission is about protecting our planet. Paula Tutman talked to local scientists to get a handle on what's really at stake here.
So I'm at the Atchison Planetarium on the Cranbrook campus, and this is a great place to illustrate this because here's the big question. We all want to know, how many asteroids are there really that can actually do damage to the planet? Well, that we know of, more than 150,000 asteroids are constantly swirling around us. Now, in terms of ones big enough to do real damage to our planet, well, that we know of, those are in orbits 10,000 years away. But we've got to start figuring this stuff out sometime. And now is as good a time as any. And if you think this is something you don't need to be concerned about at all, just ask the dinosaurs.
Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and DART on NASA's first planetary defense test to intentionally crash into an asteroid.
The DART mission, or the Double Asteroid Redirection Test, will crash into Dimorphos, a small moon orbiting the near-Earth asteroid Didymos, after being launched 10 months ago. 10 months ago? What's the big wolf today? Well, at 7:14 p.m. Eastern Time, the deliberate collision course. Dr. Coppola Castaldi is with the physics department at Oakland University.
I think we will see a big bang of this, and so the impact should be very, very interesting.
Mike Norwalk is the head of astronomy at the Cranbrook Institute of Science.
One of the questions that we get asked here all the time is, especially since we have dinosaurs on display, is what killed the dinosaurs? And we tell them it's most likely an asteroid that hit the Earth some 65 million years ago. So then the question invariably becomes, well, what if an asteroid like that came by now? Up until recently, the answer was, well, not much.
We know just the impact of DART will change the trajectory and the direction of the asteroid. But here's what we won't know immediately. Will the rocket have the impact of a car hitting a car or a truck hitting a car?
So what this probe is going to do, it's going to act like a cue ball, and it's going to impact the asteroid, and then we're going to measure how did its motion change.
It will definitely change, just like, when two objects impact one another, they deviate. On the other hand, then the details are not clear because it depends on the mass.
Okay, I'm sorry, do you hear that? That is the sound of all of us space geeks basically geeking out over this. But the question about, do I look up? Well, you can, but honestly, Earthbound telescopes, even that hecka big telescope behind me, will not capture this. It's too far away. But here's the good news, Karen. Of course, NASA is going to drop all kinds of pictures and data on us. And so a lot of us are really, really excited to see what this thing looks like almost 7 million miles away.
It seems like the makings of a movie, right? It's so cool.
No, that movie's been made. Actually, that movie's been made 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, that's true. You're right.
This is life imitating art. Yes,
that is
for
true.
sure.
Very exciting night ahead, that's for sure. Thanks, Paula.